Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah, and this is my channel, Sarah-ndipity. I am making my official return to BookTube, so hello. Going to be the introduction to my new monthly TBR game, and this is a TBR game that I am kind of making as I'm going. It's been in the works for over a year. I was still in Japan, almost just arrived in Japan when I started thinking about this TBR game. So it was in the works for a long time, but now I'm at the point where I feel happy and comfortable to introduce it to you. So I hope you enjoy, and yes, this is very much tailored to me and my reading tastes and my reading style and all of that. And I'm also kind of shifting into a different reading style than I used to. I'm a little bit more of a mood reader. Lately I've been reading a little less, so yeah, here we go. But yeah, welcome back if you're my BookTube viewers. I'm back. BookTube wise, I'm back. Back in the United States, back with my books, have a new TBR game. We're on the right track. So this is the introduction to my Pokemon TBR game, and we're going to also explain it as we go because there's a lot. So here we go. Okay, an introduction to my board. Welcome to the Pokemon TBR game that I made. Again, a lot of this is, figured out as you go. Some of it I will only inform you of what's happening as I get there and just kind of go from there. But here are my starter Pokemon to start off. The board, my home, I have this little Pikachu, but I got this little Pikachu, which is smaller in Japan. So maybe I'll use this one. It's a better size. Okay, yeah. Okay, like I said, figuring this out as we go. But first and foremost, we need to pick a starter Pokemon. So here are the choices. These are the Kanto Pokemon that we're doing. Here are all the first evolution of Gen 1 here. And I can pick any one of these to start off. This is the only Pokemon I get without actually having to try for it, I guess you can say. So here you go, just like in the games and in the anime, these are the choices. I always usually go with Bulbasaur, but I think I'm going to go with, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Okay, I'm going to go with Squirtle. Okay, I'm going to go with Squirtle. So this is the Pokemon that I start off with. And just a little introduction to the cards. I have the name, the number, and then the prompt or theme, and then level. So I have to level up my Squirtle to be able to evolve it into a Wartortle. That's how all of these are. So these are all the first evolution Pokemon in Gen 1. So that's how that works. So I'm just gonna put these guys back in there. I had to catch those the old-fashioned way. And this is my Pokemon. So this is the only one I get. To level it up, I have to read a standalone book 3 times. Each book is 1 level, unless I have a special thing where I can share experience. But for now, here we are. This is the only Pokemon I just get without trying. A little introduction to the board. So the board, you can pretty much go in any direction except for 3 places. Right here, and there's a Pokeball right here. But here, I can only go this way. If I come from this direction, I can only go this way. And then over here, I can only go in this direction. And then up here, I can only go up. I cannot go down. I made it so it's a little bit more difficult. So if I come around this way, I have to circle around and then go back that way. I thought it might be just, I don't know, a fun aspect. I don't know. And then we have a couple different spaces. If I land on a Pokeball, I get a Pokeball. I need a Pokeball to be able to catch a Pokemon. So I need these. Next is the potion. I have some potions in this handy dandy basket. So open it up and I have to pick a random potion. Some only have a Pokeball or a couple Pokeballs. Some have a Pokeball and or Pokeballs and a little surprise in there. It could be good or bad or neutral, but there's that. So that's what the potion space is. And then the Team Rocket card goes to the Team Rocket cards I have. And the exclamation points go to the random trainers around the map. And each one of those I would have to battle that month. And I could either win or lose. And there are, for each of these, there is a reward or a punishment if I beat whatever's on the other side for that month. There are 2 gym spaces, and we'll get to that at a later time because I have 1 Pokemon and I can't go to the gyms anyways. These are the only spaces you can decide to either pass or stop on. All the other ones you can't just stop. So this is the only one where I can either stop or I can just keep going. So there's that. And then there is an evolution stone. I think there's 2 of these. Yes, 2 spaces of evolution stones, and I have evolution stones. That is where I can pick randomly one of the evolution stones and I can carry it with me until I need or want to use it. There are rules about this too, but we'll get to that, later in the months when I actually have one. So there is that. There is 1 die. Each month I will be rolling it 3 times, and there are certain punishments where I have to roll more than 3 times, but for now it's only 3 times, and we'll get to kind of why I kept that at a lower number in a little bit. I'm going to be starting off with my little Pikachu at home. In the games and in the anime, your mom always gives you a bunch of stuff, and in this case she's giving me 5 Pokeballs. So I can put the Pokeballs in my little travel backpack over here. And that is a little introduction to my board. So this also may be under construction a little bit. We're just kind of figuring it out as I played. If I find little things I do or don't like, or things I want to add or take away, I will do that because I am the creator. So I am going to get modeling. So here we go. Oh my gosh, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now what we are going to do is use my Pokeball. So there's that. And here are my cards. I am going to pick a random number 1 through 147. And since I only have the first evolution of each evolution, I'm either going to land on one and get that Pokemon, or what I'm going to do is I am going to round down. So if I get, what's a good example? If I get a 99, I'm going to round down to 98 instead of up to 100. So there is that. So here we go. So the first one I landed on was just a green space, which is just wild Pokemon space. And yeah, so I got to pick a random number. I did all my random numbers off camera because I do it on my phone, but I also film on my phone. So yeah, the very first number I picked was 78. So I had to round down and I got number 77, which is Ponyta. So here's my Ponyta card. And the prompt or theme is to read a 2021 release. So what I did is I went onto my Storygraph. I filtered by publication year of 2021. And one of the books that came up is a book that I've been putting off for a couple months now, but I need to read it, and yeah, so here we are. And that is Broken Web by Lori M. Lee. And this is book 2 of the Forest of Souls. I think it's a trilogy now? Maybe it's a duology. I can't remember. Anyways, yes, so book 1, just recently reread it just like last year, but I haven't picked up book 2 yet. So I picked book 2 for Ponyta, which is a 2021 release, which is when this book came out. Book 1, Forest of Souls, follows a young lady who has been training to become the queen's next like royal spy, if I'm not mistaken. That is what she was trained to be, right? Yes. And then something happens to her best friend, and all of that kind of goes down the drain. And she accidentally, restores her friend to life. This isn't spoilery because it's all in the synopsis. So she's, and that's like something that people can't do. So yeah, there's a forest and she can do stuff with souls. She restored her best friend to life, and that does something to her soul and all of that. And so it was very interesting, a little bit cliffhangery. Cliffhangery, is that a word? It is now. And so yes, so I've read book 1, and my 2021 release for Ponyta is book 2, Broken Web. Roll 2. Oh my gosh, way up there. 1. Okay, and I am going to use another Pokeball and do the same thing. I have to keep in mind that to catch a Pokemon, let's use Squirtle as an example, I only catch it if I read that prompt in that month. If I successfully read the prompt in that month, I successfully catch that Pokemon, and then I can start leveling it up afterwards. If I don't read the prompt on the book by the end of the month, then that Pokemon got away. The next space I landed on was also a wild Pokemon space, and then I did my random number generator, and I got 23, and 23 is Ekans, which is read a thin book. So I'm going to be reading a thin book, and I wanted to go with Poor Unfortunate Souls, which is by Serena Valentino. This is, it's one of those Disney ones, like Disney retellings. I have a couple. So this story obviously follows, the regular storyline of The Little Mermaid, but this is the other half of the story. It follows Ursula, and it pretty much explains what led her to become so twisted, scorned, and filled with hatred. Many tales have been tried to explain her motives. Here is one account of what might have shaped the sea witch into a detestable and poor, unfortunate soul. This is mostly about Ursula and why and how she became how and why she is. So that made no sense. But this is my thin book for Ekans. So here we are. And last roll of the month is 4. Put these over here. So I can either go 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh boy. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. And just another Pokeball. And another Pokemon. And then the last space I landed on was also a wild Pokemon space. And here we are. And I rolled a 135, and so I rounded down, and lucky, I'm so lucky, I caught an Eevee. And for Eevee, it is to read a hyped book. So I'm not really on BookTube or YouTube or like Twitter really anymore. I want to get back at it, but there are a couple books that I've seen passing my gaze as I've been taking my little hiatus from the book community, but now that I'm back, I don't really know what's hyped. But there is a couple books where I was like, I've seen that come up a lot. So this one actually came up a couple months ago, and people were like, it's so good, it's so bad. The hype for it was both negative and positive, and so I bought it from like a secondhand store, and I'm just curious. So for that one, I don't know if I should be embarrassed of this or not, but it is Crave by Tracy Wolf. I've been seeing this a lot lately, so I don't even know what it's about. It's about an academy. I'm gonna be an academy reader. It looks like it's about a girl, a mere mortal among gods or monsters. Interesting. And a guy, a vampire, deadly secrets. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading Crave. Here we are. So yeah. But this is my third book for my third roll. And then part of this TBR game, why I'm keeping the rolls so small, only at 3, is once I catch Pokemon, I have to read certain prompts to level them up. But when I read a book, like when I read this one for my hyped book, this book can't count towards anything else. It can only be counted either towards catching a Pokemon or leveling up one Pokemon. It can't be counted towards 2 different things. So none of these books can be used to fill other things because they're already filling something. So yeah. And I went, and my starter Pokemon I picked was Squirtle. They're not Squirtles, they're Piggles. I love that scene. Okay. And that is to read a standalone book. And these are the only ones where, like, if I don't finish the book, I can't level them up in that month. You have to read one book. You have to finish a book within that month. I can read already currently reading books and finish it in that month, but I can't start a book and then count it towards it. I would have to do it the following month. So for this one, I've had it on my TBR for quite some time, and I'm going with Sparrow by Sarah Moon. And for this one, it's about a young girl. They find her on the edge of a rooftop of her school. No one believes that she wasn't going to jump. But then again, no one knows Sparrow very well. And then it also has something to do with music. I think she's really into music. So this is a young adult contemporary of some sort. And it's a standalone. So if I finish this book, I can level up my Squirtle. If I finish those other books, I can successfully catch those Pokemon and then put them into my lineup of Pokemon where I can read books and level them up. So another book I'm currently reading, but it's not going to count towards any of this, and I probably won't finish it. Maybe I will, but I want to start prioritizing my TBR game, is A Reaper at the Gates by Sarah-ndipity. I usually pick up this book every once in a while, read a chapter or 2, and then put it down because I'm slowly reading it. I'm trying to give Noria from Chronicles of Moria time to catch up. Where are you, girl? So Yeah, that's a whole nother story, but I've been slowly reading this one because she's going to catch up sooner or later. Will I already be done with the series by the time she even starts it? Maybe, but the friendship we have can survive that. So, this is the book. So, these are all the books that I'm reading for July. So, here we are. And this one is just like a backup book. I love this series. It doesn't deserve to be a backup book, but I'm a good friend of Noria, so that's where I'm putting it. But I will be prioritizing these four. So easy. I'm coming back to reading, coming back to booktube. I don't need something too difficult. So here we are. I hope you enjoy my new TBR game. Changes probably will be like tweaked along as we go as I figure things out, because some things you just can't figure out until you actually do them. So next month I might have some updates on what I told you this month, but otherwise this is my TBR game. I'm going to be playing it once a month hopefully and just kind of going from there. I'm really excited to get into it, and I hope you're excited too. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe down below if you haven't already, and love. Bye!